Is Genshin Impact worth playing in 2021? TLDR? Yep. I'm Ace and I'll give you my opinionated pros and cons discussing Genshin Impact. Starting with the pros. I've always wanted a game that I could play with using my laptop, with my game face on, and when I feel a bit tired, I just want to relax, play the same game on my mobile phone while chilling on a couch. Genshin Impact allows you to seamlessly do that, and as of the latest update, also allows cross-platform with the PS4 and PS5. I've always been a sucker for single-player, story-driven, open-world exploration games, and that's what made me love Genshin Impact when I first picked it up. There are so much sights to see, chests to loot, puzzles to solve, mobs to kill, and stories to hear, and the world size of this game is so huge. Coupled with wonderful music composed by Yu Peng Chen, you can easily get lost in this game for months and not even unlock most of its secrets. Lore-wise, it really feels like a well thought out story. Each city has its own major questline, as well as minor questlines you can unlock by speaking to NPCs, and even some questlines for your favorite playable characters to find out more about them and their backstories. I've found myself lost in the lore speculation rabbit hole a lot of times just trying to understand the bigger picture. But the story writers in this game know how to carefully plan a mystery and drop hints little by little. Although being a single-player game, you can play with your friends through the co-op feature where you can enter each other's worlds and help each other defeat difficult adversaries. This isn't really much of a gameplay feature as most of the time it's easier tackling things alone. But in the case you need various resources that might run out from your own world, you can enter strangers' worlds, and sometimes they will give you a low investment chat and you'll be on your way. The core gameplay is simple, but it can also be complex depending on how much you want to understand it. Personally, I understand it a bit well, but not to the level of theory crafters. Basically, you can control 4 different characters at a time, and each character can have one of the 6 available elements as of now. Each element have elemental reactions with almost every other element, and even having 2 of the same element in a party can give you buffs. It's a unique experience that I haven't encountered before, and I get to use 4 of my favorite characters at the same time. A big W for me. Now we get to the ugly parts of the game, at least in my opinion. This game is ultimately a gacha. They use common gacha techniques to reel you in, like the fear of missing out. The strongest weapons for your favorite characters are locked behind a big paywall. A good thing about this gacha is that it has a pity system, giving you an assured way to get your character if you have saved for a very long time. The game uses time gating like resin to limit your progress as it currently has no meaningful endgame. Ever since the game launched, the endgame has been more or less the same with occasional events that push players to their limits a little bit more. For people who don't have time to play every day, this game uses an energy system that restores over time, a common feature in most gacha games to promote you to play every day. To some, one of the biggest deal breakers is the artifact system. In this game, other than leveling up both a character and their weapon, there is a 5-slot artifact system which can be equipped to all characters. These characters give you meaningful stats, sometimes even more impactful than the weapon or the character level. However, these stats are RNG based upon leveling up. This further time gates relevant progression and can sometimes feel frustrating, especially for min-maxers. Some aspects of this game can be good or bad, so I place them in the category of both, depending on what kind of player you are. This game is very casual. It's very easy, especially if you play in a PC, and can be very hard if you play in mobile. The endgame content can easily be beaten with average investment and good mechanics if you're playing on a PC. Most day-to-day gameplay, like events, quests, and commissions, are super easy even with low investment characters. When you start the game, there are so much quests, to the point that it can even feel overwhelming. Later on, you'll feel that quests are getting rarer and rarer, especially if you're the type to speedrun content and not pay attention to dialogues. Most characters have their own quests and are introduced to you at some point. Some of them are given for free, but most of them are also locked behind the gacha system. For me, getting only some of the characters gives me a unique feeling that I get to spend time with them and not the other characters. This game was one of the biggest games of 2020, and until now, it has a huge community. This can be a good thing, as you can meet a lot of people randomly if you dive into the YouTube channels, Twitch streams, subreddits, and Discord servers. But it can also be very chaotic, especially with what happened on the first anniversary of this game. Yikes. Personally, this game is a worth it experience, and it has changed my life somehow as I've grown in investing into it. I play a lot of games and watch tons of anime, but I can still open this game daily for the dailies or even sit on my PC and play for hours depending on my mood. Thank you! Leave a like if you liked the video and subscribe if you want to see more. Ace out.